Hey everybody, welcome back to Wealth Not Wait. I'm your host as always, Joseph Coizza. And in today's video, it is our 50th YouTube video anniversary. Congratulations everybody. Thank you. We did it. We're awesome. We did really good with it, and I want to thank everybody who got us to this point. And for the 50th video, I wanted to do something kind of special. This is actually one of the first videos I ever recorded, like one of the first, if not the first video. And it actually talks about me dropping out of college. So this is obviously a very important and very big moment in my life. And this was right afterwards that I was talking about it. So this is actually some sort of rare footage of the first video that I ever made. And I really wanted to release it and do something special for the 50th. So I hope you guys enjoy. It really gave me a lot of clarity even now, basically almost a year later, and it was really great seeing that again. I also want to thank everybody for getting us to 50 videos. I couldn't do it without you guys, and I love and appreciate all the support I've been getting from each and every single one of you. So thank you so much, and then here's to another 50.
Well, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Wealth Not Wait. I am your host Joseph Coizza. And grab your popcorn, pull up a chair, because this episode is why I dropped out of college. Sorry, Mom. So let's get right into it. I feel like the best place to start would be from the beginning. Ever since I was a young kid, I was always gung-ho about school, and I was always a smart child. And I always did extremely well in school. I, didn't have to try too hard to get really good grades. But I would say around 10th grade, around my I believe that's my sophomore year of high school, if I'm still correct. I had like this kind of feeling that I wasn't exactly where I was supposed to be. Like I felt like the information I was getting wasn't necessarily useful. Hard time figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, and the ideas that I had of the things I wanted to do were no longer relevant. I had different interests and different associations, and I was like, well, maybe I don't want to be a lawyer. Maybe I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. This probably isn't going to be for me. So I ended up, sort of like backing away from that idea, man, kind of reevaluating what I wanted to do. So since then, the college wasn't really something I was all gung-ho for. When back in the day, I was all set to be like, I want to go to NYU or Columbia. I wanted to go to a major prestigious law school in New York, as, that's where I'm originally from, as I'm sure many of you can tell. The idea of college kind of started to slip my mind around then. I had always wanted to go to that prestigious law school. I always wanted to do great things, but I was always very entrepreneurial. I was always very self-learning. I believe a teacher of mine referred it to as a lifelong student. Even if you're not in school, even if you're not doing something, I always like to read books. I always like to learn things online. And a lot of the things that I have learned, be it photography, videography, of which I'm still learning and trying to get to, finances and health, were all outside of school. There weren't classes that's like, oh, here's how you do your taxes, which I feel is a major problem, but that's probably an issue for a later video. But it's always been something that I wanted to learn and progress on my own, and being very entrepreneurial even since a young age, I would go and make up little comic books at my dad's work and print them out on a copier and sell them for $10 a pop, and then that would be my video game money for the summer. So I always wanted to learn something new, and I always wanted to learn something different and progress my skills further, and school never really did that for a lot of what I was interested in, be it finances, health, videography, photography. They didn't really have things that progressed to it, and still to this day they really don't have anything at a high school level that does that. So being at college, I was like, oh, I could learn the things I want, I could do the stuff I wanted to. But then learning online, I found out, well, you have to do prereqs, and you got to spend all this money, and I'm like, well, this may not be what I thought it was. I thought it was, oh, you pay for the classes you want, you go, and high school is like, sort of like a set program, but college is like a choose your own adventure. You get to pay for the classes you want. Well, I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And I started to see that, and I started to learn things on my own, and I go, well, hey, if I'm able to learn things on my own, and I'm able to come to great conclusions and have expertise on things just by going out and watching YouTube videos, reading books, taking courses online, or just doing stuff. Most of it was for free. You have, some YouTube videos, you have some free talked about courses, you have some PDFs, you have books I could check out in my local library, and I could learn things all on my own. Why did I need to go to college for that? So progressively I started to think about that more and more. But my friends and family were always like, you're not going to go to college, you're an idiot. Plain and simple, you're an idiot. Like, everybody was very supportive of all the things I've ever done, but this was one of the things that they were very much like, no, you're a moron, you have to go to college. Because it sort of progressed and sort of pushed on us. And I did a paper of this in my AP research class, where just sort of we research a topic and give an essay and a big presentation within a year. Granted, the school board wasn't too fond of my research project, but I just sort of talked about how standardized tests and how they always push the you have to go to college idea, you have to do an essay. And that really wasn't for me. They're sort of pushing this thing that wasn't necessarily for people like me, or say someone who wanted to go into the military or get a job right out of high school, or maybe go to a technical school, doctors and lawyers and engineers. which, people kind of find out after they get hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. Maybe it's not what they want. Maybe it's not cracked out for them. But I kind of realized I didn't want to go to college for pretty early on. And then just sort of one day I was like, yep, I'm not doing this. And my friends and family argued with me and begged me and pleaded until finally I was like, you know what? Let me humor them. I had getting a scholarship. It was a small amount from the school. And I was like, I could pay for a couple classes. Let me go to my local community college. The ideas of grandeur of going and becoming a lawyer at NYU or studying at Columbia kind of went out the window with that one. So again, sorry, Mom. So it was like, okay, I'll go to my local community college and it's now fully accredited, woohoo! But let me go do that and let me see how I want. And I went for business because I was always very entrepreneurial, and we had a family business, and I knew that I wanted to be my own boss. My idea was I didn't want to work for someone who was stupider than me and make less money than they did. And a lot of people who are very financially savvy and a lot of well-off businessmen will tell you the same thing. Yeah, if you work really hard at your job, you're going to make somebody else rich, not you. I believe the old saying, or the old joke at least, is that a boss pulls up with a Lamborghini, and the employee comes out and goes, wow, that's really great. And he goes, yeah. He goes, if you work really hard, dedicate yourself, put the time and hours, I'll get another one next year. So that's basic my example on the worker and the boss mentality. So I definitely wasn't going to be the person getting somebody else a Lamborghini. I would like to have one of my own. Fingers crossed one day maybe. But yeah, so I went to college and I studied for the semester, and I went through my boring basic prereqs, and I did really well, as I always have done in school, but I very quickly lost interest. It was two classes, that one of which I had somewhat of an interest in, the other one I didn't. One I believe was college algebra, or it was college math. Algebra would have been useful for my finances. College math was not. It was all, a bunch of equations that we never talked about while we'd ever use it. It was just sort of my teacher, and he was a great guy, don't get me wrong, but he was just sort of explaining to us how to do the work, and then we were, given an assignment online, and we had to go through the course ourselves, and essentially almost teach ourselves. Like, he was more in-depth with it, and he talked every day at lectures, but very quickly, the people around me I didn't quite connect with. There were people making friends and study buddies, but you've ever been in a situation where you're like, these people aren't for me. Not that you feel outcasted or that you feel like, you're different from them, but it's just like you guys don't really quite mesh. You guys really don't quite connect. There's a block there. And that's kind of what I was starting to feel. I feel like these people had different ambitions, goals, different life situations than I did. They wanted to go off and do this, so they came from the military, now they're getting their degrees. And, that's great and all, and, I've been friends with people like that before, but these people and me didn't necessarily connect in a way that was like, oh, let's go be study buddies. That's not something I did in high school. I never had a partner that I studied with, and then I wasn't going to transfer to college now. So I kind of lost interest in that math class, and also being somebody who's not really fond of the traditional math. Give it stuff that, when you bring money involved. When you bring money, it's a whole different story. So when you bring money involved, then math becomes real interesting to me real quick. So not being something like that and just being basic math and algorithms, I kind of lost interest in it. World religions I'm always interested in, because I like learning about different cultures and different people, and I like expanding my mind. I know growing up we could be sort of shoehorned into certain ideas and certain beliefs, especially when you don't get out and travel the world. That's why I also picked up photography. That's why I like to travel a lot, is sort of expand my mind and learn things, learn how different people act, learn how different cultures are, and hopefully apply that to my life, or be able to understand people better. I have friends of all different backgrounds and nationalities and cultures and religions. I'd be able to understand and connect with them more. Like, oh, growing up they learned XYZ, thing about their religion, or they learned, something about their culture. So now I can understand where they're coming from and what they enjoy, and I could communicate and build a closer relationship with them. And then even apply that to business practices. People from all over the world are doing business with you, especially nowadays. We're a very, globalized economy, and where, you do things online. I bet not everybody who's watching is from America. All, few who do watch currently. So I bet you're all not from America, and I bet not everybody is from the same, ethnicity, race, or background that I am. So world religions was something I was interested in. But just having those two classes didn't get me out of bed in the morning. I had afternoon classes because I'm definitely not a morning person. All you night owls know what I'm talking about. But I'm definitely not a morning person, so I wouldn't wake up early. I would wake up probably around 12, would get to my class at 1:30, and still show up late. But such is life. So it kind of shows you how good of a student I was. But I would get to class, and I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't study or I wouldn't work as hard. And then progressively I would stop showing up to class, and that was for the first semester when I had already taken a year off. A lot of my friends had already had a year under their belt, but I did not. I took a year off to kind of discover and find myself. And that's when I discovered I liked photography. That's when I discovered I liked finance. That's when I got serious about building myself up and working and losing weight and becoming somebody I was proud of. And I feel like that was probably the best thing I could have done for myself given the situation. A lot of people don't have the luxury of taking a year off, but I was fortunate enough to have that. I always have parents who at least somewhat supported it once they found out I was going to college. And after that year off, and I took it was about 9 months, so it wasn't a full year. But I took that time off and I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed my holidays and I enjoyed my birthday, which falls around the holiday time. And I really found myself and found what I wanted to do and found that enjoyment. And then going back to college, it kind of contradicted the things that I felt I really wanted to do and really enjoyed. So I was kind of like, well, hey, I just spent all this time doing something, and now I'm spending time and money doing something else that I don't enjoy. Kind of doesn't make sense. So I very quickly did stop going, and I did well on my world religions class and math we won't talk about. So we enjoyed the summer. This was the spring semester, and then we enjoyed our summer with me and all my friends. And some of my friends did summer classes. They were very outgoing and enthusiastic with school as well, and that's great for them. And I anytime they do a major achievement, I tell them I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy to see that that's what they enjoy and that's what they go for. But just for me personally, it's not for me. It's not what I want to do. I want to spend thousands of dollars, go into debt for something that I'm probably not going to need. When Jay-Z was not Jay-Z, 50 Cent, excuse me, he was talking and. He was saying, well, and then Warren Buffett says something similar to this, oddly enough. He said, well, if the business teachers know everything, then why aren't they millionaires? If they're teaching you what you need to know about business and, oh, I know the book inside and out, I know it by heart. Well, if you know everything and this information is really that good, why aren't you a millionaire? Why aren't you a billionaire? And, I know you're not because you're here teaching in a community college. If you're teaching in a community college, there's a good chance you're not a millionaire. If you are, and that's what you choose to do your time, good on you. I'm glad you're helping the youth of the nation to get to that point, because, God knows we need it. But if you're not, and you're just trying to teach kids, oh, this is what you're going to need in business, well, then why isn't everybody successful? Why isn't everybody to that point? This is all you need is the information. You need to work hard and go for it, the whole American dream. Why is everybody successful and why aren't you successful? I'm not just going to turn it down because I don't want to do the work. I'm willing to put in hard work, time, and effort to get to where I want to be in life. I just feel it's not a good use of my time. It's like an investment. So I very quickly was like, all right, well, let me go back now. I'm not kind of gung-ho about it after my summer semester, but let me go back and let me at least put in the effort. Worst case scenario, I had a plan to fall back on. I never really thought of backup plans. I was like, oh, the family business, that's better than most people's backup plan. But I kind of really quickly realized that I had to make a way for myself, and I had to do something I enjoyed. Not that I don't enjoy it, and I love doing it. It's taught me so much as a person, as a business person as well. But I had to learn for my own and find something else that I loved in addition to that. So I went back and I had to register for classes, but doing the online system and being a progressive community college, I had to do it all through online. Kind of a joke, but it was I said I couldn't register for classes. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. So I show up and I walk over to the receptionist lady who was there. She was very nice, very sweet. I had an appointment, and she just goes, "Oh, what's your student number?" I went, huh. So she starts laughing. She goes, okay, well, we'll pull it up. What's your name? Okay. She goes, yeah, I see you have an appointment for an advisor. Do you know who your advisor is? She's like, okay. So that kind of shows you how much I was, excited and prepared for this. It wasn't something I really wanted to do, but it was something that I felt I had to do at that point. But she found out who my advisor is, and I sit down, and eventually my little buzzer goes off, and I met with this very flustered gentleman. So he comes over to me and goes, oh, hey, how are we going? How's it going? I'm your advisor. And I was like, okay, chill out, my guy. Where's the fire, bro? I'm just here to register for classes. It's gonna be okay. So he ushers me over, and he's kind of sweating. He's very nervous. He goes, oh, I've had so many students today. Even though the deadline has passed, everybody's trying to re-register. And I'm like, I get it. Trust me, I've been bombarded at work before too. I can only imagine how it is. But he's looking at me. He goes, oh, I see what the issue is. He goes, you're saying you can't register for classes, right? And I was like, that's correct. That's kind of why I'm here. And he goes, well, the computer system doesn't recognize you as a student. I'm sorry? The computer system doesn't recognize. No, I heard you correctly. What do you mean it doesn't recognize me as a student? Well, you see, the way it's set up is it doesn't see you as a student, even though you took classes here and then paid for those classes. It doesn't see you as a student yet. Well, okay, that's a real smart system. I'm kind of losing my faith and confidence in the system as we go along, but I'm like, okay, so how do we fix this? He goes, let me just put in some numbers. He goes, and let me see if you can figure this out. Okay, I was like, all it takes is a couple of numbers. So he goes through and he sees, oh yeah, it doesn't have you registered as a student. He goes, you know what, I've done this before some other way and it's kind of worked. He goes, but let me use you as a guinea pig. I'm sorry? He goes, yeah, let me figure this out real quick. And I was like, I appreciate the honesty, but why do I gotta be the experiment? I just want to register my classes. I'm already having a hard time getting myself up out of bed. Now I gotta be an experiment as you play Dr. Frankenstein with my records. So the whole time he's kind of sweating, he's trying to figure everything out, and eventually he goes, okay, I got it. It worked. Great, cool. So now that you're probably hundreds of $1,000 system recognizing me as a student now. Yes, everything's back in. Your records are fine. Everything's all set up. You can register for classes. Great. He's like, while you're here, I'll help you. I was like, fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you so much, large sweaty man. So he's very flustered when he going through this. I could only imagine how many students he had to see today, but by the time he got to me, he was pretty well beat, So he goes and he enters in all my information, and I pick out my classes, and he goes, okay. He goes, well, all these are online classes, and I said, yeah. I said, and having the issue before when I wouldn't want to show up for classes, and I had to go through the pace with everybody else. That's part of the reason why I lost interest. Was I do really great the first half of the semester. I was doing excellent. I was getting A's on everything. I didn't need anybody's assistance. I think the lowest I got was like an 83, which is like a low B because I didn't show up half the time. And then very quickly I just didn't show up to any class at all. And then when you don't have any of the information, you're not reading the $100 textbook that they wanted you to go out and buy that I didn't purchase. So have that, I very quickly kind of fell behind on that, so I decided to do online classes, and I could take it at my own pace. And a lot of teachers, from what I heard at least, had it allowed for you to go and work at your own pace, and you could do basically the whole semester in a couple of weeks. I probably would have locked myself here in the room, banged that out in a couple of weeks, and then showed up for the final being like, I'm here, yeah, I totally did the coursework on everybody else. So I tried to set that up, and he goes, well, you have to pay today because it's past the deadline. All right, it being a community college is not as much as, say, a major university. But, so they go to one of the schools with a hyped-up mascots that charge you $100,000 a year for room and board. So they go to one of those, and it's not as much, obviously, to go to community college. He goes, here, I'll print up the bill for you. And he hands me this bill, and I'm looking at it, and just for a couple of classes, he goes, oh, yeah, it's
$1,200.
What?
$1,200.
What? That's ridiculous. And then he starts going on, and that's kind of when he started to sit back and he relaxed a little bit, which kind of was also kind of off-putting, knowing now he's not sweating now. I'm sweating now. I'm the large guy being very flushed. He goes, oh, you can pay in cash, you can pay in check. If you show up before 11 o'clock today, you can pay it on our online system. We accept credit card, student loan information. If you need student loan information, blah, 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 blah. And, go talk to this guy and go wait in line for another hour and a half. And as I kind of sit off and look to the side, I see the student loan gentleman has his own workout cut out for him. So he had about 30 people in line. No joke, about 30 people in line. And it was maybe about 2 or 3 hours before the school kind of shut down their administrative section. So I just kind of started to tune out for that second. And he's like talking about all the ways I could pay it and how if I paid in cash, that would be a great idea. And student loans. And I'm like, I just kind of sit there and I think to myself, and I was like, no. Like I had an epiphany moment. I said, this isn't worth my money. I'm not staying in line for 30 minutes to take out debt on something that I don't even feel I value, something that I know I can get by without, just to appease somebody else, just because my family and friends want me to do it. I don't want to do this. I'm not a lifelong learner, like I said. I'm going to go out and get my education, but I could do it for free. I could do it better than they can, because there's millionaire mentors out there who can teach me the ways that they have done it. There's classes and courses and books. For a quarter of the price of what the school could be, I could go out and get books and courses and learn the information myself. It gives me a coursework of what I need, business ethics, and then half of it or more than half of it is prereqs. You got to go take this algebra, you got to take this this math class and this history class, and even though you did all your English credits and you have about 6 extra English credits, we're going to take an English too. Well, so much for those AP classes, so much for those dual enrollment classes that sponsored through the York Community College, by the way. Thanks for those. But I kind of sat back, and as I was tuning the now happy gentleman, the happy received my bill, I kind of sat back to myself and I said, no. I said, this isn't for me. I'll be all right. So at the end of his speech, I got up, I shook his hand, and I thanked him for his help, and I said, I'll be sure to look into it. I'll be sure to do that, and I'll see you sometime. And he's like, oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, if you want to do it, okay. I got it, thanks. I know how much the bill is. I have it in front of me. And I walked out. I walked out of that place, and I hope to never be back against my free will again. The place was, it's not, I kind of villainize it more so than I feel like I should, but it helps people out a lot. I'm sure community college there, I see everybody there going for better jobs, helping support families, getting jobs outside the military. It's a great thing, college and community colleges and all that. But again, it's not for me. I walked in and the smell of the place would make me upset. I would be in a bad day before I even set foot on the campus. So it's very much not a place I wanted to spend my time. And I went home, and that was a very difficult conversation with my mother and my father, and the rest of my family, and my friends, who they all kind of looked at me and they were like, all right, great. One of my friends was very grateful, and they supported me, and they said, nah, Joe, I believe in you. I think anything you put your mind to, you'll do great at, and I know you'll be able to support yourself and a family, and you'll be happy one day finding out and doing what you want on your own, and you don't need this. And that just kind of warmed my heart, and hearing that and talking to that person before I talked to my family and everybody else, I knew that if anybody was going to help me through this situation or support me, it was going to be them. And they understood where I was coming from, and they said, no, I feel like you're making the right decision if this is really what you want. And that meant the world to me. And then going through with that form of confidence and trying to explain it to my parents, who also grew up with the idea that you have to go to college, you have to have a great job, especially back then when people didn't go to college as often, and college was seen almost as like a luxury. They had a hard time adapting to it, and still have a hard time adapting to it. Hi guys. So they have a hard time adapting to it, but I know I'll be able to figure out and make it on my own. So I used it, and I'm sure you'll see it in the thumbnail. I took a frame, and I put my student ID in that bill, and I put it up on my wall, and it reminds me constantly of the life that I kind of left behind, and that was the start of how I got more motivation for myself. How I did great on my weight loss journey, but then how I really buckled down on it, how I really buckled down on my finances, how to make money, how to film YouTube videos, how I wrote a book. And it all sort of started to progress from there, because I said, well, I got to figure out what I want to do with my life. I'll figure out what makes me happy. Photography is a great hobby, but I didn't know if I really wanted to do it as a career. But I feel teaching people and progressing with this major issue we have of weight loss and obesity in our country, along with financial instability and financial sort of delinquency, if you will. Is something that teaching people how to overcome it and how to get to where they want to be in life, I feel, is a really noteworthy goal. And it will, prosper and obviously have me support a family if I do it right, and be able to get to where I want to be, but also help out a lot of people. And I feel like that's more important than going to school, getting a business degree, and working for somebody just so they can go buy a Ferrari, and I can, sit home with a white picket fence. And every time I look at that bill, and I show my friends like, the best part's when you bring out the bill. So I'm going to show my friends, and I have it plastered to my wall right now. It's a constant reminder and a constant sign of motivation that I could do whatever I put my mind to. I could change the world if I want to, and anybody can change the world if they want to, as long as they're determined enough and it's their dream to do so. So that's my constant reminder, and what some people would see it as a failure or as an upset, I see it as one of my greatest achievements. That was a day I sat down and I said, no, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to do what I want with my life. Nobody else will tell me what to do. Nobody else will walk down this path but me. And that was the time that I started out for it. That's the time that I started to progress towards my dream. And it was, I think, probably the best decision I've ever made. Maybe one day we'll find out. I'm like, dang. At least now I know how much it was going to cost me. But I have my old student ID and my old college bill up there, and it brings me the motivation that I need every time I look at it, and it lets me know that I'm doing something right, and that I'm going to help people, and that I'm going to have the life I want, and I'm going to achieve the dreams that I want. And it's that motivation for me that I took that step, that I'm going to make it on my own. So yeah, that's kind of the story. That's why I dropped out of college, and that's kind of why I'm on the path that I am today. It's I started off with just kind of being bored or not and feeling out of place and wanting more from life, and then progressed to me acting on it, and it progressed to me doing what I wanted with my life, and progressed to me getting the more I wanted out of my life. It just kind of shows you that sometimes the path you're taking isn't necessarily the one that's best for you, and that you got to be open to change. You got to be open to different ideas, and you'll find out what makes you happy, and then just do it. And the money will follow, everything will follow, and as long as you're smart and you're conscious about it, as long as you remain vigilant and you work hard, you can achieve your dreams. And that's kind of what I hope on, and that's kind of how I go through my life. So yeah, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. I hope to have many more videos come from this, and I hope this gave you a little bit of inspiration and motivation. Maybe not to drop out of college, but to progress forward and achieve your dreams like I hope to do one day. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.